Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live on Facebook, 10:30 in the morning every single day, where we explore news, headlines, and stories that relate to our lives here in Puerto Vallarta as English-speaking locals. English-speaking locals, that's the common denominator here, and we're always happy to get together, and I mean, when I say we, I mean Luna and I. Oh, Luna is on assignment in the bedroom maybe, or somewhere else. We're always happy to get together with you and share your comments, your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions on how to stay occupied, happy, inspired, in love with our lives here in Puerto Vallarta. It's always great to say hello to each and every one of you, particularly Jorge Mendez Collazo. Today, I'm going to share a wonderful photograph that Jorge sent us from New York City that is very relevant to something that we talked about a couple of days ago. So it's always great to see friends that are usually here. This is such a wonderful community. But if you happen to be new, let us know. Let us know that you're new. Write the word "new" in your comments, in your comments, so that we can actually say hello to you. We are a rowdy bunch, but we don't bite. Quite the contrary. We're always happy to welcome new folks to this community. As usual, I'm going to take a quick look to see who's here. Mike is here. Yakima. Linda, you're going to help me. You got to help me out with that. I don't know where the accent goes in that word, but Yakima, you're in the house, and that's a wonderful thing. Lots of friends locally. John is here in Puerto Vallarta, while Lisa is in Santa Cruz, California. Haley is in Comox. I don't know where Comox is. Never heard of Comox before. I hope it's a happy place. Calgary, done with quarantine, Michal. I'm so glad that things are working out for you. Margaret is in Vancouver. You guys are all over the place, and that's the way I wake up. I wake up all over the place, and then I have my coffee, and I feel much more together. And I'm not implying that you're all over the place like I'm all over the place. I'm scattered. You are all over the place. That's what it is. Today, as always, thank you, Sherry. Yesterday's tour was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun yesterday taking a look at Versalles again. And this week, we're going to produce Versalles tour number 3 to try to catch a few other restaurants and interesting places on another corner of the neighborhood. And then we'll move on to making video walking tours of other parts in the city. In fact, I have a couple of plans on things and places that I want to go to. Somebody suggested Pitillal, and Pitillal is such a fabulous neighborhood to explore. Even if you don't understand a single word of what's being said around you, Pitillal is uber awesome, and I just love walking through Pitillal because I always find something new to explore. So chances are is that we're going to head in that general direction sometime soon. Cincinnati is in the house. Good morning, Doug. All over the place. You missed me at Mercurio yesterday for Sunday Fun Day. Yesterday, I stayed home. It's funny because I kept thinking about that question of where do I like to chill, or where do I go when I need to chill? And I'm very fortunate because I love chilling in my own home with my baby girl, Luna, lying down on the couch or on the bed next to me. That's my favorite happy place. And I'm so glad and happy and lucky that I get to work from home with occasional outings, but because this is a safe place for me. I really, really enjoy it. But next time you let me know, Gayoff, that you're going to Mercurio, and I'll be happy to join you. Jay is coming down. Yay, awesome. Coming down from Boston, my former home. That's absolutely wonderful. Since we are from this group, are we called? I certainly hope not, Joe. Somebody was circulating the term Paconians the other day, which made me laugh. Um, um, it reminds me of that term that I see printed every now and then that refers to Vallartenses as Vallartians, which I think it's a little kooky, but that's okay. Um, you can call it whatever you want. Absolutely. Oh, great comments about Pitilla. This is wonderful. Hola, Eric. Que gusto verte. Uh, Barbara, today we're going to talk about you. I'm glad that you're tuned in because you have questions about beaches. And Barbara told me privately that she is moving to Puerto Vallarta. And I found her questions to be a little bit newbie-ish, but hey, I was a newbie once. So later on in the leisurely section, we're going to talk about beaches, what is allowed and what is not allowed, and so forth and so on. But of course, as usual, we're going to get started with um, the COVID numbers. Monday is Numbers Day here at Coffee and Headlines. This is pretty much the only time in which we dive into the numbers because, bottom line, we know what we have to do. Oh my God, that is so scary. Please don't make T-shirts, Michal. Terry started the whole Paconian business. Yeah, it feels like the name of a camera brand or something. Anyhow, let's get started with the news because there's a lot of stuff to cover. Oh my God, and the judge that removed a charge against the man who molested that girl, it made international headlines. And when you find out why, you're going to be so fucking pissed. It's not even funny. So here we go. Headlines. Let's go on with the headlines. As always, we begin our week with the comments that our Governor Enrique Alfaro Ramirez makes regarding the latest numbers for COVID-19 in our state. Think about this more and more as the health and medical weather forecast, because until and unless we see a vaccine and it works and we are all cured or whatever, the COVID numbers will start to begin feeling more and more like weather forecasts, and maybe that's just my opinion. Anyhow, Enrique Alfaro tells us the following. This week we increased the indicators or the parameter of hospital occupation and weekly cases, but we maintain stability and we continue to be one of the states with the best results in the country. I present you the Jalisco parameters along with the national graphs. There are conditions to continue with economic reactivation, but not to lower our guards. The number of cases continue to be on the rise, and this only puts hundreds of businesses and people at risk, and also your life, the life of your family, and the life of the medical personnel that looks after us. Individual or personal responsibility continues to be key to move forward. We know how to take care of ourselves. Let's do what we have to do. Let us avoid deaths and the emergency button. This business of translating on the go, it's fun. It's exhilarating. I love it. Anyhow, that's what Alfaro had to say. This is the graph for this week. And I might as well just show it to you combined with last week's graph so that you can get a sense as to what's going on. Last week, we had 2,596 hospital beds occupied. The number actually went down to 772, but last week we reported 309.4 cases per, I think it's per million. I always forget if it's per million or per thousand. 309, and now it's up to 354 out of a possible 400 that would lead us to activate, would lead him to activate the emergency button. So as you can see, we continue to sail very close to the edge under which the governor would push the emergency button. We don't see we don't visualize the actual fact that he might actually push the button, but for better or worse, we can never be certain. Ultimately, and we know this because we say this pretty much every day, the best thing we can do about this is to continue to take care of ourselves, take care of those around us, follow the safety guidelines, wear a face mask, keep ourselves distanced, and only go out if it is absolutely essential. Along with those numbers, excuse me, the governor shows us where we stand in the national graph for active cases, and this would be Jalisco over here. The highest place continues to be by a long shot, Baja California Sur. This would be Los Cabos and La Paz and so forth and so on. The number of accumulated cases since we began to track the pandemic for every 100,000 inhabitants continues to be very low for Jalisco, 192.9, with the highest number being now the state of Tabasco. And the morbidity numbers, here we are with 23.83 deaths per every 100,000 inhabitants. The highest number continues to be Mexico City. So this is pretty much what our numbers look like. Let me take a quick look at some initial comments and questions. I forgot to mention that if you have a question, it helps us a lot to identify it as such if you add the letter Q to your question. And we try to get to all the questions during the broadcast, and if not, I definitely get through every single comment immediately thereafter. Susie asks, love your tour yesterday. What are food prices like here in San Diego? When we go out to eat, it costs 20 and most times 40. What about PV? That's a great question. PV locals know that for the most part, and this is not always the case, for the most part, if you are eating at tourist areas, you're always going to spend more money than if you're eating at non-tourist areas. That is just a general guideline. In the case of Versalles, what we were talking about yesterday, there are some very affordable restaurants. There are some restaurants that are more expensive, but you get your money's worth. In Mexico, if you go out and have a nice meal, you can have a nice meal out, a nice dinner for $20, not including wine. Wine is something that is bound to increase your dinner cost quite a bit. But oh my goodness, $20 can you can have wonderful meals. But again, it depends on where you go. That's just a very basic, quick answer to that question. Bum, ba-ding, bum, boom, bum, bum. Oof, boof, ba-doop, ba-boo. And we are, I had a letter. Okay, there we go. Then let me just continue with the headlines now, because we get into the meat and potatoes of what's happening with this man who was convicted for molesting a minor here in Puerto Vallarta. We understand that he is still in jail, and there were 2 charges against him. One of them was sexual abuse, and the other one was corruption of minors. Sexual abuse still stands. The charge for corruption of minors was dismissed by the local judge that took care of the case. His name is Jorge Luis Solis Arana. That's the name of the judge. And the judge said that he was dismissing that charge because the criminal or the accused had already been charged for that before, but he really fucked up when he made the following comment. There is no corruption charge if the minor did not feel pleasure. Now that comment totally turned social media inside out, and it incensed a number of people. The governor called him immoral, dismissed him from his charge, um, and there was a demonstration here in Puerto Vallarta against this judge. The governor chimed in on his Facebook account saying the following, more online translation. Given the rumors that a abuser of minors left turned out to be free in Puerto Vallarta, I want to clarify that he's still in jail for the crime of sexual abuse of a minor. I have just had a conversation with the president of the Supreme Justice Tribunal, and he confirms that the Council of Judiciary things will take matters into their own hand immediately. The judge that decided not to press this charge against this criminal for the crime of corruption of minors has been dismissed, and he will pay the consequences for his immorality. The state government and the attorney's office will do everything we can so that this alleged pedophile will not leave the jail in a long time and will receive the punishment that he deserves. Good for the governor, how crazy this is. And unfortunately, this made, of course, the headlines all over the country. This is the news item from Revista Proceso, which is this very reputable source that we usually rely on. But unfortunately and embarrassingly so, it also made international headlines. I'm going to leave you with a link to all of these, and I'm sure you'll appreciate the fact that there's an entire article on this in English for you to read if you care to do this. Let's see. Moving on with more COVID related news. It is good to know, well, we found out late last week that the state of Campeche is the first state to be in the yellow, yes, according to the federal stoplight. And despite the fact that the state has become the first state in the country to be in the yellow, the state of Campeche is still maintaining dry law and restrictions. This is good to read, if anything, because sooner or later, our state, Jalisco, will hopefully find itself in the yellow. And when we find ourselves in the yellow, it will be one of those things in which it's not a sign for us to relax. You know, being in the yellow is one thing. Being in the green is a completely different thing. And it is a good thing that the state of Campeche is looking after themselves. Let me take a quick look at your comments before we move on to the headlines, to the weather. What am I talking about? I'm so scattered today, Jesus. Let's see. How totally sad. Some people call it Pity City. Pity City. You know, we call it Pity City not because it's the pity word in English. We don't have pity for Pitillal, I should say. You know, we call it Pity City just because it rhymes. I don't think anybody has pity on Pitillal, or it's a pity-related issue. Just saying. Coapinole is awesome, Julie. You're absolutely right. It's slowly but tastefully being gentrified. I love that comment. The question, do you think the governor will ever push the emergency button no matter how bad it gets here in Puerto Vallarta? We heard that there's been threatened to not push the button by the cartel. I can't speculate. I can't speculate, Teresa. I'm going to call you Teresa because with all those accents, I get a little intimidated in your name. I wouldn't even know how to begin. Therese? Teresa. Do I think there's a cartel influence? Probably. Do I think the governor will push the button? I'm sure he doesn't want to. Will it ever come to that? I'd rather not think about that, and I'd rather turn that question around and say, do I think people could be so stupid in the way we handle our personal responsibilities and irresponsible so that the button would be pushed? Unfortunately, I do believe that. Because as much as I'd like to believe that there are a lot of people taking responsibility for their actions, there are a lot of morons out there that are not following safe distancing and not using their face mask and treating the whole situation with disregard. So, do I think they could lead the governor to push the button? Unfortunately, yes. Let's hope that that's not the case. Teresa. uh, yes, all your comments about the judge are absolutely yes, yes, yes. It is a horrible thing. It is so good that he's being dismissed, and I can't believe that actually happened. There's a question from Michael Gull. How do we get used to the extreme heat and humidity? Um, let's well, I think some people can and some people cannot, Michael. I don't have an air conditioner at home. I have I have one ceiling fan and another fan in my room. And there are nights in which, when it's time to go to sleep, I have both fans pointing at me. I have a towel over my pillow because I'm sweating so much. And yes, there are some days in which it is unbearable, but then there are some great days. I mean, you get used to it. You have access to swimming pools. You go and visit with your friends that have air conditioning. I mean, there are ways to get around it, and it all boils down to what your priorities and your personal wants and needs are. I know friends that would never move here and would never live here in the summer. I know friends that that are very happy to pay an astronomical electrical bill because they have to have their AC on all the time. It is a personal thing. For me, it's been 18 years of it. And yes, there are some days in which I go, ay, no mames, this is just crazy. But, it is what it is. Let's see. More pedophile comments. More pedophile comments. We go to the pool and ocean in the summer. Feels refreshing. There you go. Kathleen understands this. And again, some people can handle it and some people cannot. I'm so glad to see other people chime in on this matter because it is quite something. It is quite something. Moving right along, let's talk about, are we ready for the weather? Yes, we are ready for the weather. Let's go there. You must think it's weird that I do this when I'm trying to look at my computer screen. I put my hand on top of me, but I have the big reflectors pointing light at me, and sometimes I cannot see. I am so happy that snarky weather, carrot weather, continues to be snarky with this statement. Snow, rain, heat, gloom of night. I tried everything I could think of to thwart postal workers when I could have just whispered, defund them, in the right ears. I think that's funny. I hope you think that's funny. If you don't, then I'm sorry to hear that. It is 28 degrees Celsius, feels like 34 Fahrenheit. It's 82 degrees. Humidity is high at 89%. We see a 7% chance of rain for today, starting in the afternoon. I see that tomorrow is going to be rainy and humid through the day. And Wednesday, it's going to be humid and mostly cloudy through the day. And that is the weather for the next few days. As long as we're talking about the weather, let me share with you the fact that Tropical Storm Fausto came and went. We never even noticed because it formed like west-south, it formed near Cabo San Lucas, so it was never a threat to to Mexico in general. But there is the new storm, the new tropical storm Genevieve, is intensifying south of Mexico, and high waves, tall waves, are expected right now along the coast of Colima, Michoacan, Guerrero, and Oaxaca. It hasn't climbed up to us yet, but I'm sure it's headed in that general direction. Now, a couple of days ago, we were talking about some national headline about what would be what would be the essential things to do while visiting Puerto Vallarta. And we giggled because one of the things that was essential was to visit Los Muertos Pier. And we talked at the time of how spectacular Los Muertos Pier was when it initially opened, and how the beautiful lighting that was put into place lasted for maybe a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then it stopped working. Well, one of you was so very kind to share this photograph with me, and this is what Los Muertos Pier looked at some point. It had this wonderful set of ever-changing lights that would illuminate it on the top side, but also on the bottom. It was truly something magnificent to look at. Of course, that is no longer the case, and that is very unfortunate, and that is what it is. As I mentioned earlier today, we got newbie questions from one of you about the beaches, and I'm happy to address these. These are very basic but very easy questions that make sense to me. The question is, where are the public beaches I can frequent that are not associated with a restaurant? The answer to that first part is public beaches are Mexico. Mexico is public beaches. There are no private beaches in Mexico. There are some beaches that happen to be close to restaurants or hotels, and that makes it very convenient if you want to go to the beach and be served by a restaurant or an eatery and whatnot. But beaches are not associated with restaurants, not formally. Are all beaches open to the public in Puerto Vallarta? Yes, all beaches are open to the public, not only in Puerto Vallarta, but all over Mexico. Do I just find an umbrella vendor and rent an umbrella? It really depends on where you are. There are some beaches in which there are vendors that rent umbrellas. There are some beaches that are not, that don't have amenities, and there are a lot of people that have their own beach umbrella. And if you're walking to the beach, some people may just choose to bring their own umbrella, and there are some places where you can rent them. The next part of the question is, what are the rules? Well, there are no rules in Mexico. You're not allowed to have sex on the beach. You're not allowed to drink on the beach unless you're being served. And you are not allowed to get high. You're not allowed to be naked. But again, if you decide to go the whole 420 maneuver at a remote beach and then show your beautiful body parts, then it's entirely up to you. The last part of the question, can you access the beach anywhere, or are there certain public access points? There are public access points to the beach all over the place. There are hotels and developments, real estate developments and hotels that try to maneuver their design in such a way that they try to make it complicated for regular mortals like you and I to get into the beach. But this is constantly being watched by the authorities and challenged by the population. But if what you're looking for is beaches all over Puerto Vallarta where you can go swimming, just about any beach is suitable for swimming. There's a couple of beaches where the tide might make it a little bit more challenging than others. If you ask me, where do I enjoy going to the beach the most, it would have to be Las Animas, south of Puerto Vallarta. You can only get there by boat. What's the matter, Luna? Come up here. Come join. I'm so glad you're back from assignment. Come on, hop up. Pop up. Come on. Come on, Luna, so that we can continue talking about the beaches. Come on. Just, well, come up. People are dying to see you, and you're just being difficult. Come on. Sometime before Christmas. Come on. No? Well, fine. Okay, back to me. Anyhow, that's going to the beach 101. My favorite beach, Las Animas. You have to take a boat to get there, or you can hike. Come on, girl. Fine, be that way. So I hope I answered beach-related questions. I haven't been to the beach in forever. Maybe when we were talking about places where one can chill, maybe I could go to the beach Imagine going to the beach. I would like to go to the beach. I haven't been to the beach in a while. Moving on with more headlines. PBS has been doing these wonderful longer episodes of their cultural series Canvas, and part number 4 has to do with getting together with nominees for the Academy Awards and who that talk about their craft and commitment to storytelling. I totally recommend this if you want to watch it. If you've been a fan of the Netflix series The Crown, meet Elizabeth Debicki. Well, she's going to be Lady Diana in the season number 5 and 6 of the series. He sure looks like her. For season 4, which hasn't aired, there is another actress that plays Princess Diana when she was younger. Her name is Emma Corrin, and I actually forget if we've seen her or not. I forget what season I'm watching or what's the last season that was made available. Anyhow, if you've been following this series, it's absolutely fabulous. We have 2 more seasons to go. And the last headline that I have to share for you before we launch into final questions is Randy Rainbow is back now, heralding Democratic Knight in Shining Armor, Kamala. And what a better song for Kamala than Camelot. So there you go. You can take a look at this at your leisure when we're done with the show. And let me very quickly take a look at your last minute questions. Beam, 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 beam. Let's see. I see a question. Any more thoughts on a friend for Luna? Oh my goodness. Yes, I keep thinking about this, Kathleen, and I am sure that destiny will point me in the right direction or will show me a huge flag when it is time to get Luna a friend. And yes, she will get a little friend. And I think this is probably the best time to do it because I'm spending so much time at home, and I can make sure that that she and her new baby brother or sister are getting along just fine. Oh, breaking my silence as a lurker. Hello, Julie. It's nice to see you, and I love it when Luna chimes in. She's a very important part of this operation. Thank you for chiming in, Terry. Las Animas is an awesome beach getaway. If anybody wants to know more about how to get to Las Animas, how to enjoy it, I take it for granted that you know about it. But if you don't, please write Las Animas in your comments. And if I see a handful of those, I'll be so happy to talk about Las Animas. Gouda, hello, Gouda asks, do I know anything about Angie's rooftop event being shut down this weekend? I actually don't. But Angie is a good friend of mine. Oh, wait. Yes. Well, I know she was going to perform somewhere that is not like the usual place, but I don't know exactly what happened. I will be happy to take a look at this, Gouda, and find out what's going on. Michael asks, how am I doing? Michael, I'm doing good. Thank you very much for asking. I spent a lot of time yesterday chilling and resting. A dear friend of mine gifted me a television set that she was not using after mine got fried a few weeks ago. So I spent a lot of time watching TV yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I have scheduled a 2-day getaway to San Sebastián del Oeste, and I will be either broadcasting from there if I find that the internet is friendly, or I will be pre-recording a few segments for you to enjoy. So I am taking care of myself. Last but not least, Michael, I know that I'm going to have dinner at your Thai restaurant this week. So how can life be better than that? So thank you for asking. I am doing good. Let me see. Yes, Kamala. Yes, we talked about this the other day. It's easy to think that she might be called Kamala, but it is Kamala. I wanted to make sure that I got that right from the very first time I said her name out loud, and I think I did. I am so glad some of you enjoyed The Crown. The Crown is absolutely awesome. I see comment. Okay. Las Animas, Las Animas, You're giving me a great, thank you very much, because you're giving me a great excuse to just hop on a panga and go to Las Animas for the day and do a video or narrate or do a something. I haven't been to Las Animas in quite some time, and I am going to very much enjoy that. Raymond, you are a lunatic. Yes, you are, and so am I. Oh my goodness, everybody wants to go to Las Animas. This is so much fun. Isaac, can I come with you and do the hike together? You can do a video for Gay Guide, and I can do a video for Coffee and Headlines. Can we plan on this? Please say yes, because you know how much I love you guys. It would be so much fun if we did this together. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Okay. Let's do it on a Monday and come home Tuesday. We can go together. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's it. We've gotten to the end. We made it through another episode. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining. More people want to go to Las Animas. Let's go to Las Animas. I will do a big to-do about Las Animas. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for sharing your suggestions. You know, it's easy for me to take for granted that as locals, you know everything I do. And every time you remind me or you give me suggestions of things to do, you gift me several things. You gift me with purpose. You gift me with ideas on how to better connect with you. And in turn, you gift me with ways in which I can help you connect better with our destination. And that is what Coffee and Headlines is all about. You give me goosebumps, I swear to God. You give me goosebumps. You give me this feeling of feel good that I'm a local. And I'm so glad that you're locals too. And I'm so glad that we are locals helping one another. And because I'm starting to ramble, but this today you just made my day. Las Animas it is. I'll make it happen. Have a great day. Have a great week. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay calm. Stay face masked. Stay hungry. Cater to local restaurants. Cater to local economy. Find ways to spend whatever money you can spend in the local economy. We all need to take care of our business people and take care of one another. And I will see you again soon. Last but not least, of course, I always forget to toot my own horn. If you found anything useful, if you made yourself happy or laugh, if you were feeling better than how you were feeling before we started Coffee and Headlines, always feel free to support our show in whatever way possible. You know what to do. You know how to spread the word. You know how to share this with your friends. And I am always, always grateful for that. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.